Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another budgeting video, and for today's video I am doing something a little bit different. As you guys can see, I'm currently filming on two cameras. One is right here face to face with you all, and the other one is where it typically is during these times. And so I decided to do something a little bit different for this video, and the reason being is because I don't know if you guys remember, in the beginning of the year I mentioned that one of my goals was to show my face on camera a lot more, and I just really haven't been doing all of that in quite some time, especially with like my budgeting or planning videos. And so I decided that today I will change it up a little bit. I'm also really sorry if I'm like looking up and down like consistently. This is something just very new to me, but I have seen other people do it and I thought that I would give it a try. So I am actually going to bring you guys along to my October pages in my plum paper planner. And so this is the monthly view where I will be tracking all of my expenses. But for today, we're going to be setting up my budget spread. I do have here my deluxe budget kit, which comes with a washi, a budget kit, and a weekly check-in. I think I'm going to go with the floral pattern so far, but I really do like the Fall Leaves 2.0 as well, so I might end up adding that within the month. But I typically like to set up my budget spread on the right side right after the monthly view, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in just a little bit. And this is something super new to me, so I hope that it goes well. Pray for your girl. I'm going to white out the October little script that we have here, and I'm just gonna go right into laying down my thick washi strip like so. Take my budget kit and go on. So for those of you guys who are new to my channel, I actually do like to set up a mock budget spread in my softbound notebook. This one specifically is this red one from EC that I got, I want to say like over a year ago, and this is where I keep the mock spread. So I'm going to have this on the side just so that it's smooth sailing from now on, and I don't have to think about how much I want to budget per category and whatnot. So that's kind of why I like to make that. Let me take the income header, which I'm trying to not get as close as I typically would, so this is a little bit different, but I think I have it. Okay, so we have that there. For every single month, as you guys know, my shop actually does pay me a paycheck. And so the first source of income is going to be, of course, my shop, which is Romina Rosa. This is so hard to do. This is funny. So for Romina Rosa, I don't disclose what paycheck it is that I get from my shop specifically, but I do think that in the future I might just end up saying it, just because it is a specific number that I've been giving myself pretty much the whole year, and I don't think that I would mind you guys knowing what that is. So we will see in the future, but for now that is going to be left blank. And of course I do like to have in line for all of my variable sources of income, those being YouTube, Patreon, and affiliate links and all of that. So I am just going to leave that there. I could honestly also add a miscellaneous section to this, just because I have been getting miscellaneous income from like I know I just got a refund for an exam that I was supposed to take in September that didn't end up happening. So I'm just not going to add it this month because that's not really typically what I get, so I'm just not going to add it in there. And for this month, this is actually a really exciting month because it is of course the beginning of fall. We have Halloween and all of that. So I do have certain categories for something that I want to buy, which I will be talking to you guys as I'm setting this up. So let me actually start with my variable expenses. And these I will put right here. So the first variable expenses that I like to account for in my monthly budget are my cash envelopes. I currently don't have the new cash envelopes with me, but I will be stuffing those for you. I'm thinking tomorrow morning. I'm actually filming this at night if you guys can't tell. So the first category that I'll have in my variable expenses is going to be groceries. And I am still trying to find that number, the perfect number for this category. As you guys know, I moved into my first apartment with my boyfriend back in August, and it's still I think, a trial and error thing with categories like groceries and household and things like that. So I think I'm going to go again with the $275. I think that should be okay, especially because there's nothing too big holidays coming up yet. Now for the month of November, I do think that I will increase it just a little bit because of Thanksgiving and whatnot. But I think 275 should be good. I do want to ask you guys how much it is that you guys budget for groceries and how many people are in your household. I do like to, get ideas from you guys, not only for like cash envelope categories, but also for things like this. So let me know. I'm just very curious because I am, in those starting points of budgeting for groceries for me and someone else instead of just for myself. Next, we have eating out. And all of these categories, if you guys were wondering, are just for me. It's interesting, I think, living with someone else, because although this whole budget is coming out of my income and specifically just for me, and it's not really just for me, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to buy groceries, I'm going to buy groceries for the both of us, as I'm sure he would if it was his turn. And so we're, if you guys have been watching my weekly check-in videos, then you guys know how that's been going with like groceries and how we're splitting things and whatnot. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that because I know there's a lot of people that budget for like their whole family and whatnot, but I'm just not at that stage yet. So yeah, so for eating out, I am going to be budgeting the same as I usually do or have been for the past couple of months, and that is $100. I am trying to limit my spending, although to be quite honest, now thinking about it, I should have probably upped that just a little bit. I do have a couple of friends that have birthdays coming up, and I'm sure they're gonna have like a small birthday dinner. So maybe I should have upped that, but we'll see in our weekly check-ins. So yeah, we'll just leave it like that for now. Next category I have is household, which is, as I mentioned last month, one of those categories that I typically wouldn't have budgeted for in the past because I didn't have the need to. I think last month I budgeted $100 for it, and it was pretty good just because I ended up getting, I think, like a wax warmer and whatnot. But this month is very, very exciting because of the start of fall and, decorations and all that. And I definitely want to buy some decor for my apartment. I've really been loving just buying different furniture and just like one main style pieces, and so I thought that it would be perfect to maybe even make a video of me decorating my apartment for fall. So I am going to budget $50 more than I did last month, and I'm hoping that that's enough. So let's go ahead and put $150 as our budgeted amount for household. Next, I have gas, which I'm actually going to be decreasing this amount. I had seen in the past couple of months that now it takes me, I believe, around like $36 to fill up my tank. And so I thought that bringing it down from the $80 that I was budgeting for it to $70 would be perfect. And I honestly don't even think I ended up pumping a second time in the month of September, now that I think about it. But I think that should be fine. So I'm budgeting $70 for gas. Next, we have allowance. And for allowance, I always budget the same thing. I have been for since I started, I think, budgeting. That gets a $100 to spend on whatever it is that I want. And then I have beauty, which is one of those categories that I absolutely love to have, and I feel like I need it for my sanity. And that is for things, as you guys can see, I have red hair, so I do like to dye my hair. I don't get it professionally dyed. I actually either dye it myself or my mom dyes it for me. So I do think that I do save money that way, but I do, have to spend money for hair dye. I recently have been starting to get eyelash extensions, which I absolutely love them. And I've mentioned in my weekly check-ins how I don't know if I can ever go back to not having eyelash extensions. And so for this month, I believe I have 2 appointments for 2 fills, and so I was thinking of how much that was going to be, plus the tip that I am planning on giving her, and then just a couple of bucks for hair dye. And so I'm going to be budgeting $200 for that, which I mentioned last month. It's exactly the same amount as last month. That this might be, a lot for some people, a little for others, but I think that's just the perfect number for me. And that's with me like not even like thinking about like buying all these other things, because I think with my budget, not only creating a budget but also going through with the weekly check-ins, using my cash envelopes has made me very, very aware of the money that I'm spending, and I honestly don't like to overspend now. And this is me talking like 2 years after I first started like paper budgeting and everything. So it's really a process. In the beginning, of course, you might find yourself overspending on just a variety of things. Trust me, I've been there. And all of that just to say that $200 is enough for me. Okay, next category that I have here is for my phone bill. And my phone bill, I'm going to budget 110. It typically, I've seen, varies from like cent, from like a couple of cents. It's like a couple of cents off every 2 months or every 3 months. And so that's why I keep it in my variable expenses. After this, I have electricity. And for electricity, I'm going to budget exactly the same amount as I budgeted last month, or as I paid last month, which was $100. I might be just a little bit over budget on this, but once again, this is barely going to be our second month in our new apartment, newer apartment. And so we still don't know like the perfect number to budget for utilities like that. So I think $100 should be good, but I honestly could not tell you guys for sure. But that's what I'm going to budget for that. Then I have internet, which somebody made a very valid comment on, I think, last month's budget video, and that was, why don't I just note internet as a business expense? And I could definitely do that, but the only thing is that the internet is not solely for my business. I could, let's say, mark that as one of my business expenses or part of that, but I don't necessarily want to mark all the bill as a business expense, but rather coming out of my budget from the money that I'm getting from the paycheck that my shop gives me, just so that I don't think that I have like extra money to spend and stuff like that. I don't know, that's how I'm going about it now, but I do think that's a very, very valid suggestion to put it as a business expense. So thanks for that comment. I don't remember who it was from, but I see all your comments, guys. I know I'm not very good at replying back all the time, but I see every single one of your comments. So for internet, I believe it's around $70 that I pay for every month. It might be like $69.99. So we're gonna budget $70 for that. And then the two new categories that I don't typically have in my budget, but of course go along with the season. The next one is going to be for a costume. I did budget for a costume last year in the month of October, and I think it was pretty good. I don't think I went over budget, and this time I don't want to make an exception. I definitely want to stay under the $60 mark, and so I'm going to be budgeting $60. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to be dressing up as, but I do think me and Paul are probably going to do like a couple costumes. But yeah, I'll let you guys know probably on Instagram how that goes. So I'm going to buy a costume. Another category that I don't typically have, but that I don't know if you guys can see like how my split ends look here, but I'm definitely in desperate need of a haircut, and so I have decided to make a budget for it this month. I could, add a little bit more money to my beauty category, but I feel like haircut needs its own category in my budget, so I'm going to put haircut. I honestly could not tell you the last time I got a haircut. It could have probably been in the beginning of the year, I want to say, and I think when I've been getting my haircuts with the same lady, it's been around $40. So that's what I'm going to be budgeting for this time around. So $40, and you guys can't even see that, can you? This is what happens when I have two cameras here. But okay, haircut is gonna be $40. And then last category that I have in my variable expenses is going to be a section for any unbudgeted expenses, and that doesn't get anything. That's just for tracking those unexpected expenses that I may have throughout the month, which I actually do think I had one for the month of September. I am now going to skip a line just in case I forgot something, lay down my totals header, and then move on to my fixed expenses. So for the fixed expenses, like I mentioned, I did move a couple of categories to that side. Let me actually check my mock budget spread. Yes, I did. So the first one that I have, of course, is the main one that I have to pay for every single month, as I mean everything else, right? But it is a fixed amount, an amount that doesn't change, which is why it's in the fixed expenses side, and that is rent. Now for rent, I do pay, or my part of the rent is $800. So that's what I'll be writing there. Next, I have car payment. My car payment is $348.06. Then we have my car insurance, which was a category that I moved out of my sinking funds recently into my monthly budget spreads, and I do pay $200 towards that. Then we have a category that was just moved to this section, which is renter's insurance, and I now know for sure how much it is that I'll be paying for the next like couple months, like almost a year, and that is $10.83. So that is what I pay for my renter's insurance. After that, I have a section for subscriptions, and this has to do with, I believe, iCloud storage, as well as my part of the Spotify family plan that I am currently on with my sister. So for that, the total for those two is $6.99. Then of course I have my student loan payment. The minimum is $130.77. That I know off the top of my head. And then I have a giving category, and for my giving category, I've typically been doing $150 every single month. So that's what it's getting this month. And then last but not least, or almost last but not least, we have sinking funds, which I will be having my sinking funds video go up, I'm pretty sure right after this one. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be all close and personal like this one, because I feel like that one's more about stuffing my cash envelopes and all of that. But do let me know how it is that you like this whole face-to-face budget planning situation in the comments down below. And for sinking funds, I'm actually going to be stuffing them with $679. So make sure you stay tuned for that video. And then the last category that I'll have in my budget spread is an extra debt payment category, and that usually stays blank up until I am ready, or I know for sure how much it is that I'll be putting towards debt, which usually happens at the end of the month. That's typically when I know how much I'll be able to put in there, since that money does come straight from my shop. So now I think, yeah, those are all of my fixed expenses, and I think I am going to be skipping a line like I did for the variable expenses. I have those there. And now let's go ahead and take another thin washi strip and lay down our totals section at the bottom. Now for the total section, there's not really much that I can do right now since I'm barely setting it up, but at the end of the month you guys will be able to see how I go about it. Or if you guys are interested, I am going to be putting out my September monthly budget results video pretty soon, and there's a lot going on in that video, or there will be a lot going on in that video, so make sure you stay tuned. I do cover how it is that I go about closing out my whole monthly budget spread, my sinking funds. I finish up my weekly check-ins, and there has been one major expense that I do want to talk to you guys about, so make sure you stay tuned for that for sure. For totals, I always put first my income section, which I will later subtract my variable expenses, fixed. And I'm getting to the bottom, so my handwriting is not looking too hot here. So I do apologize, but I'm going to put that header there. And then I do have this squared off pattern box, which I typically like to put whatever is left over from when I subtract all of my expenses from my income. And then I do have some deco pieces here that I just use to jazz up this spread just a little bit more. You guys know me, I love to decorate my spreads, but that's going to be pretty much it. I can go ahead and just off the bat add up all of my expenses. So for my variable expenses, let me actually move this a little bit to the right. We have 275 plus 100 plus 150, 70, 100, 200, 110, 100, 70, 60, and 40. That is, yes, a total of $1,275 for my variable expenses. And now I'm just going to give you guys a little rundown of my fixed. I'm not going to total it right now just because I do need, you know, that extra debt payment number to be able to do that. But we have 800, 348.06 plus 200 plus 1083 plus 699, 130.77, 150, and 679. That is a total of $2,325 with 65 cents. And now let me just go ahead and add in my variable expenses to that. This is the grand total for all of my expenses, $3,665. And with that being said, I think that's going to be pretty much it for this monthly budget spread video. I really hope you guys enjoyed coming along and seeing me as I set up my October monthly budget spread. This was something super different. I feel like my handwriting does not look its greatest, but this was really fun. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and kind of this new scenery of my face. Please do not forget to give it a huge thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel if you guys are not subscribed already, and hopefully I will get to see you guys for that sinking funds video. Bye guys.